So now I should be mostly caught up with all the DuckTales episodes. And today, well, I'm going to be reviewing the 7th episode of the 3rd season. I'm John Barry, and today I am reviewing DuckTales, The Rumble for Ragnarok. So, first of all, this episode is actually somewhat hinted back way early on in the 1st season, I believe it was, where Scrooge mentioned that one of his duties is basically protecting the world from a serpent that can transform, and if he and all that. So we see that what happens. Basically, every decade or so, I guess, I'm going to say about every decade, he goes and fights the serpent and its champions, and if Scrooge wins, the Earth is safe. If not, Ragnarok happens, or the destruction of the world, I guess. Ragnarok does have some different contexts. I do like how, just skipping to the MCU real quick, but in the MCU, Ragnarok is just the destruction of Asgard. It's an Asgard thing, which I think is actually just kind of neat. I'm just showing you how maybe if aliens are real and some of them have visited Earth, how some of their stuff and their legends can be interpreted onto us. You can take it what you will, but this episode's fun. I'm not a big wrestling fan, to be honest, but it does kind of poke fun at the wrestling, how wrestlers are really often faking it and and playing characters, even though the results of the match in this episode actually does carry a lot of importance. It's not just for fun, but the idea is very much, everyone has a character to play and they play it. And it's about, and it also shows how getting the support of the crowd can be very important as well. I'm not going to talk too much about the episode itself in all honesty, or the wrestling match, I guess, because that's not interesting to me. It's more interesting about why. What I find interesting is that Scrooge took Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Webby with him for this to take over for him eventually, not Donald and Della. Which, the triplets and Webby do ask that question, and Scrooge's response is that he basically doesn't trust Della and Donald to work together, which is just interesting. But yeah, I could see them not working well together, that they wouldn't do well. I could just see that. In this story, there's a lot of Louis immediately sees like, I can sell merchandise for this. Meanwhile, Dewey and Webby are like, yeah, we're ready. Webby's clearly the better at this than Dewey, because Dewey can't stand the fact that the crowd doesn't like him. Eventually, he does get them to like him by essentially, not giving up and standing up. But that, he's dragged down by this, and also we get Huey. He's actually confused by going on. He doesn't understand wrestling at all, while Launchpad's like, yeah, I'm good. Just commentates like nothing, like it's normal. And so, as I said, this is, I think, second time we get Huey and Launchpad as sports commentators, but in this time, Huey actually doesn't understand what's going on, but Launchpad does. It's kind of a flip on the previous time where it was actually golfing, even though magical stuff happened there as well. It's a different sort of magic, and Huey still knew, even though magic was going on, it was still basically golf. Here, Huey does not understand wrestling at all. He's my surrogate in this story. The person who has maybe a faint understanding of wrestling, but nothing else. That's what's going on here. Oh, and then also Mrs. Beakley does show up at one point to help out in the fight after Scrooge's back gets hurt. And it's amazing all that Scrooge can do, but he hurts his back and all of a sudden, nope. I suspect while his back does hurt often, he can go through it, but this time he actually let himself rest to get Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Webby the chance to learn how to do this themselves. That's what I'm actually thinking is going on, but actually letting his back maybe rest a bit, it actually meant he actually needed to give it a full rest. I wouldn't be surprised if Scrooge actually did something like that, where he very much, as what I'm looking for is kind of exaggerated his back hurting, though I think his back did hurt, and he did hurt it. He kind of, let himself not fight through it in order to give, as I said earlier, Huey, Dewey, and Webby the chance to learn this one responsibility of his so they can take over for him. So it means who's going to end up taking over the company eventually. But it's almost like they're setting up at the end of the series, if and when that happens. Because, who knows what happens with TV shows nowadays. But, are we going to see Scrooge, die eventually? That's something I'm wondering, because, we get, in the Most Dangerous Game Night, we get mentioned that Scrooge does have learned that Donald is in it, which surprises Donald, apparently. But in here we see, and we get hints about where Scrooge says, I'm not going to be around forever, whether that means around, or just, I'm going to retire eventually. Could go either way with Scrooge McDuck, let's be fair. But, no, he's, teaching Huey, Dewey, and Webby things in these journeys that's almost like preparing them to take over for him, which I find is interesting. So that does make me think, at the end of DuckTales, the end of the series, not in the season, because I think they got more than 3 seasons planned and 1 to produce, but I think at the end of the series we might see Scrooge actually die or retire. I have no idea, but these things are setting that up. It makes me think that could actually happen. So that's why I wanted to talk about this episode. None of the main episode stuff, just this interesting idea of Scrooge's legacy and what the show could be doing that we would not necessarily expect for a character who's already insanely, probably would object to being called old, so that's called well-seasoned. But let's be real, Scrooge is old. He has great nephews. Or grandnephews, you can call them either thing, but that is something he does have, and, his parents are still alive, but that's magic stuff that's keeping them alive. With Scrooge, who knows, but I think it's something we got to expect in the show eventually, because we got these clues setting up. Now, I don't think that's going to happen to the actual final episode, series finale, so we'll still probably, let's hope at least the rest of Season 3 and this potential Season 4 before we even get that, maybe even 5. That'd be great. But that's what I have from this episode. What are your thoughts of it? For me, I didn't focus too much on the episode, just a few things the episode brought up into my mind. And more extrapolating with the season series as a whole. But if you have any thoughts about either the direction of the series based off what I said in my review, or the episode itself, what did you think of it? I would love to hear from you. The comment section is down below. Also, if you haven't liked the video yet, please do so, or dislike it if you prefer. Also, feel free to check me out on social media, Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description, as are the links for my Discord server if you'd like to join. It's a great place to hang out and chat. Or my Patreon page if you would like to help support this channel in exchange for some rewards. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all that I do. And consider checking out the video or the playlist on screen now. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one. Bye!